Before you say anything, no, I haven't given up on what if Tanjiro became Kamen Rider Kuga. This is just the reason I'm making this is because I was having a shower thought, and that shower thought was, wait, I want to do another MHA X Kamen Rider thing, but I can't do Ryugen because I haven't watched Gaim. Wait, I've watched a little bit of Kamen Rider Ryuki. Why don't I do that? And now I have to watch two series at the same time if I'm willing to entertain this. Yeah, so far, hold on, let me check how far I've gotten in. I'm at the start of episode 14 last I left off. After that, I had to start watching Kuga, which I don't mind. Either way, so I haven't really gotten that far into it. But far enough that I think I can make a good first episode. So, before we begin, let me state the rules. Let me just grab it right here. Okay, for one, Izuku will become Kamen Rider Ryuki, obviously, and he'll look different. However, everyone else, and I'm doing something unique, every other Kamen Rider will be this someone else, and you guys can decide. For example, do you want Muscular to be Scissors, or I don't know, Shinzo to be Knight? The only one who's excluded from this is Izuku as Ryuki and Odin. And I haven't got that far yet, so I don't really know much. And if you guys want to include reasons why I should make that character that Kamen Rider specifically, please let me know. And don't worry about spoiling me, because I don't really care about spoilers. Anyways, only riders can eliminate the mirror monsters. I don't really remember their name. Also, Izuku will not go to UA. Yep, this will not be a vigilante-like story like we had with Bufa, but it'll be something else. Also, Bakugo will get his ass handed to him eventually, don't worry. And the rider forms can be used outside the mirror world, as we can already tell. I mean, there's a clip where Knight's mirror creature he made a contract with is in the real world. So I'm gonna include that. But the only reason they won't fight outside the mirror world, unless it can't be helped, is because it keeps the game a secret, and also I'll make it so that the final events cards can only be used in the mirror world. And I'll try to remember that rule. So anyway, with those rules stated, let's begin. Oh, and also Midoriya will be quirkless. Yep. Back. Now let's begin. Anyways, we start off our story with the sounds of a radio. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cosmic Radio. Our story today is that the disappearances that have been plaguing all of Japan have still been happening. We have questioned both police and heroes about what they're doing to solve this mystery, but so far, it seems that they have no information whatsoever. It's almost as if these people just disappeared from thin air. So we advise caution for all our lovely viewers. And now on to much more better news. Anyways, while that's going on, we see a villain attack. You know, like in Kamen where Izuku's watching. And he's observing the whole thing and commenting on the heroes. But when he's taking his notes down, he's writing more than just their quirks. He's also writing about the villain, what happened, almost like he's a journalist. And the starfish guy, the absolute Chad that he is, goes, "Hey kid, you wanna be a hero?" Uh, I, I guess, sort of. Well, good luck. Oh crap, I'm running late. Yeah, I just wanted to include that. Anyways, to Older on High, the literal hellhole in the Yaki fanfics. eh, I've been reading too much Wattpad stories. Anyways, we cut to the class where Izuku, where it's just normal, and then the teacher shows up and goes, "Alright class, I don't care how much you complain, you gotta fill out these career test forms." And at first they all groan, but he goes, "Psych! I know you all want to be heroes!" and all that. And everyone starts using the quirks, just thinking, yeah, they're all excited. Well, Midoriya's just thinking, how are half of these gonna help? And then, alright class, settle down, settle down. You know quirk usage is illegal. Anyways, it seems like it's like one of our students is trying to enter UA. Bakugo, is that true? It's written on the fucking page, you extra. Bakugo's going to UA? They only have like a 2% entrance. It's the only place worthy of someone like me. Oh yeah, Midoriya. You and Akito are both going as well, right? And then everyone begins to laugh at Midoriya, saying, "How could a quirkless loser just enter UA?" And Bakugo goes to attack Midoriya, but is stopped by Akito, who is going to be Midoriya's true friend. And for context, his quirk is Mirror. It lets him reflect damage when he decides to. And he just stands there blocking Bakugo and just causes his attack to reflect back at him. As if any of you are better. I mean, look at half of your quirks. They ain't gonna do well. Midoriya here has a heart of a hero. And me and him are gonna be the best. Ain't that right, bud? Yeah. Well, you have heart, I'll give you that. Also, Bakugo, clean yourself up. Anyways, let's start with our lesson, everyone. Now, for a bit of context about Akito, and this will be brief. His quirk reflects. Now, Mirror lets him reflect any form of damage which inflicted on him. And unlike Flecturn's one, he has to activate it. Yeah. Now, Akito became Midoriya's friend when he was 6. He saw him getting beat up by Bakugo and his goons, so he stepped in. And Bakugo, being the cocky son of a... Sorry, I just hate him with a burning passion. Tried to attack him only to get beaten up. By himself, because Mirror, that's what it does. And Midoriya first was puzzled as why he was helping him. However, Akito didn't even care if Midoriya was quirkless, because he he can just make people hurt themselves. And the two of them would become best friends. Friendship ended with Kachan. Now Akito's my best friend. And he would help encourage Midoriya, in a positive way. So that's why his personality is not like how he usually is. However, Akito does tend to leave at strange times. But that's just a habit Midoriya's gotten accustomed to. It also helped that since he had a positive friendship, he realized how terrible Bakugo was. I swear to God, Midoriya and Bakugo's friendship in the original is the most toxic thing I've seen. Midoriya, are you suffering from Stockholm Syndrome? Please, you need help. Anyways, we cut to the end of the lesson, and Midoriya's asking Akito if he wants to hang out. He goes, sorry, I can't. I got a bit of a headache. Oh, okay. Well, hope you feel better. Right, well, I'll see you around. And while Midoriya's packing up, Bakugo does his whole, what's this? Takes the book and blows it up. Midoriya's like, what the hell, man? You got something to say, you quirkless freak? I just did. And Bakugo is just decides to come up with a sadistic idea. You know, I think I know how you can get a quirk. Take a swan dive off the roof and pray for one in the next life. And then he leaves with his goons, acting all cocky. But Midoriya is not happy. He is just... The nerve of that guy. Ugh! I hate him. Well... He pulls out a tape recorder. Let's see how you like it. And for the past month, Akito recommended to Midoriya that he gather some evidence on Bakugo's bullying, and so they can present it, because the police are pretty much quirkists. That's a term used in the fandom. So he's been gathering as much evidence as he can, because the school is, well, all around high. They don't want their shining goose Bakugo to appear as if he's imperfect. So yeah, there's tampering and stuff involved. But Midoriya's still kind of hurt by that. But he still, if Akito believes in him, he'll believe in himself. And just when he's thinking about this, he's already at the underpass. I think you know where this is all going. The sludge villain ends up appearing, and Midoriya ends up getting captured. And during the scuffle, his recording is destroyed. Like, the device he used to record it. So he just lost his evidence, but he doesn't know that at the moment. However, All Might appears and does the Detroit. No, wait, no, it was Texas Smash. Texas Smash! I just realized, I don't think I ever seen All Might do a kick. You think in all those years Gran Torino would have taught him how to fight? Anyways. We have the whole thing where All Might signing Midoriya's book, and he's still a fanboy in this. And he does end up grabbing All Might's leg. And the whole scene is similar. And when he asks All Might, can he be a hero without a quirk? He gets the same answer. Sorry, kid, you can't be a hero. Not without a quirk. And while Midoriya is devastated, he still holds some bit of hope, because Akito believes in him. Like, that's his best friend right there. And so Midoriya just leaves the rooftop. However, he doesn't, and he does end up seeing that Bakugo was taken hostage by the sludge villain. But instead of rushing in like a madman, he yells to one of the heroes to go for its eyes, which, after they do follow its advice, they were able to get the Bakugo out. He didn't realize it was Bakugo, he couldn't see it, but he was subconsciously thinking to himself, oh, I could have just waited. And so he's walking his way home. And All Might didn't really get a chance to meet Midoriya at this time. Like, after the whole incident. He's walking home, but he sees he hears a police sirens and goes to check out something. But it's not just police, it's a ambulance as well. Quickly, he sees a small crowd gathered around an area, and he decides to push through. But what he's met with shocks him. It's Akito, and he's bleeding so much. Disregarding any form of order or anything, he quickly rushes to him and just quickly goes, Akito! Akito! Come on, buddy. Are you okay? Izuku is. I'm sorry. I guess we can't keep that promise. Don't say that. You'll be fine. No, I'm. I'm not. I'm on my last leg. There's no quirk that can help me here. Come on! Don't say that! I've had so many secrets from you. I wish I could share them. Here, take this. Go to my house and look for something. You'll find all that you need. Akito, come on, don't say that. Before Midoriya can continue, the police begin to just drag him away, but he's fighting back desperately. He does not want to leave his friend alone. Soon after, the rescue worker, the paramedics arrive, but with a person with a healing quirk. Cause if you tend, cause that, sorry about that. Just gonna do a little side tangent. Because if you have a healing quirk, you can apply for quirk usage, such license in for the medical field. That's basic. That's a given for anyone who has a healing quirk who becomes a doctor. Just expanding the world a bit. However, the injuries on him don't heal, and they have to quickly take him to the emergency room to try and help him. And Midoriya goes as well to just make sure he's okay, but he waits for hours and hours. He calls his mom to let her know about it, and she's worried. Read that about this, because Akito is a real nice guy. But unfortunately, after 5 hours, the surgeon in the medical room comes out and says this. I'm sorry. We couldn't save him. Oh my god, I started to cry. Midoriya, he wants to cry in this moment. He really does, but he can't. He just isn't able to. The doctor lets him in to see Akito one more time. And he asks him if he has any relatives, but Midoriya says he never talked about them. So, in the end, he asks if he can. He did say that Akito had something for him in his house, so he's allowed to take a copy of his key. However, after he does, he bumps into Detective Tsukasha. Pardon me. No worries. Wait, you're the person we need to talk to. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. We just want to ask you a few questions about the victim. And what your relationship is with him. Akito was my best friend. Actually, he is my best friend. How long have you known each other? Ever since we were 5. That's when we first met. Unlike all the kids at that time who were bullying me because of my lack of a quirk, he helped me and stuck by my side. He encouraged me that I could be a hero, that we could be heroes together. But now he's gone, and I don't know why I can't cry. I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. Do you know how this could have happened? No, he was getting a headache and he said he was gonna head home. He always leaves at weird times. I never thought much of it. But he couldn't have done anything terrible. I know. We're not arresting a dead corpse. You're acting as if we are. Sorry. I'm actually just gonna go to his house. Now. Why? He left something for me there. Would it be okay if we came along? Uh, Pardon me. We need to get permit first. I forgot. Okay. Well, I do have the spare key, so if you need me to open it for you, just ask. Uh, Here's my number. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Thankfully for Midoriya, today was Friday, so he wouldn't have to go to school tomorrow. So and that night, at that night when he finally gets home, he shares the news with his mother, who begins to cry in tears. Meanwhile, Midoriya just can't for whatever reason. He does say this to Inko though. Mom, uh, there was something I didn't tell you. Today I met the number one hero, All Might. Oh, Izuku. I wish it was a better better day than this. No, I asked him if I could be a hero without a quirk, and he said no, that I need to be realistic. How could he? I didn't mind at first, but after all, Akito believed in me. But how am I supposed to believe in Akito, the Akito that believes in me? But what is what is? I need some time. Of course, Izuku. Take as much time as you need. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. Quickly, Izuku goes to his room, and for the whole night, he cries. Well, that escalated fast. So we cut to the next day, and Izuku is still in his room, still very upset about what happened, still devastated. But he remembers what Akito said about something in his house that will explain everything. And that sentence confuses him because he doesn't really understand what's going on. So he decides to go to his house. He's been there before, and whenever he was there, he always said his parents were busy or something along those lines. He gets to it, and he goes inside, and he thinks that he checks around, and one thing he notices is he always had his curtains closed and all those kind of things off. But he's never been in his room, so he figures what he needs is there. So he goes in there, and he sees the room in a mess, like almost as if someone broke in there. And he begins to look around to try and find something. But then he notices something on the ground. He picks it up and it looks like a card deck. And he takes one of the cards out and he doesn't really understand what's going on. Like, he doesn't know why he has this. Was he involved in some illegal card tournament or something? But then he also notices it has an emblem on, one that looks like a dragon. And deciding to at least let some sunlight in, he opens the window. And he's surprised by what he sees. Across from the street, he sees the reflection of a dragon, like an actual full-on dragon. Dragazar, I believe that's its name. And it is charging right at him. Like, it is going to attack him. And he's panicking, like, why is there a giant dragon? But quickly, he just instinctively, he holds up the deck, and it just backs off. Like, it just backs off and just goes back into the windows. Not the windows of the house, it broke them. But the windows of the building it came out of. What was that? Now, Midoriya doesn't really know what's going on. But soon enough, Detective Tsukasha arrives. He enters and he sees the window broken. What happened? A giant dragon came out of the windows over there and tried to attack me, but then left. I was hope. That doesn't even make any sense, but it's true. Uh, okay, do you mind? Would it be okay if we can investigate? No worries. Midoriya then leaves, and he's still thinking about that. But he's also thinking about how did Akito die? Like, Akito had a really strong quirk, and it wasn't as if he didn't know how to fight. He was a pretty good fighter. But then he starts to think back to when he found him. He had some obvious bruises here and there. But he starts trying. He starts thinking more. But he decides to go at least see his body in the hospital morgue. They still haven't taken it out. They still haven't buried him yet. He goes to the hospital and asks to check in on it one last time. But that's when he notices something that wasn't there before. Purple marks are on him. And he does he doesn't know how what's he doesn't know how they got there. In fact, he brings a doctor over and they don't see it. They think he's just hallucinating from seeing his best friend die in his hands. And Midoriya's just even more confused. First, his friend dies. Second, a giant dragon bursts out from a mirror. I mean, a window. And third, I don't know. So he just goes home and still thinks about that. So, anyways, we cut to a few weeks later. Midoriya took time off to mourn his friend's death, and they held a small funeral. Granted, there was only a few people there, but it was nice hearing a bit more about Akito. So when it's finally time for him to come back to school, people are just kind of leaving him alone for a bit. Like, they go, "Damn, can't believe Akito died. You and Midoriya will be okay?" I mean, come on. But Bakugo, being the little shitter he is, starts tormenting him. "Hey, you quirkless Deku. Heard your friend died. Guess that's what you get for defending the weak. But who cares? He was a worthless, good for nothing extra who would have been crushed by..." Suddenly, Midoriya has Bakugo with a chokehold, and he is pissed. "Say what you want about me, Bakugo, but don't you ever disrespect Akito in front of me ever again." Quickly, Midoriya just slams him into the ground and starts punching him in the face. And Bakugo's goons try to stop it, but they're kind of terrified about the fact that Midoriya's just snapped. He's just punching him again, and again, and again. In fact, the teachers had to take him off him. And he was sent to the principal's office while Bakugo was sent to the medic. The principal is just not pleased by this. If this got on Bakugo's record, he would be a laughingstock. So he decides to just expel Midoriya, which he doesn't really care at that point. Alderaan High can burn for all he cares. However, how is he gonna tell his mother? And while this is happening, he starts hearing a noise and getting a headache. He then sees something moving in the reflection of a building. He then sees it pop out of the building and just grab a random citizen. And he quickly goes after it, but it enters back in the reflection. And Midoriya doesn't really know what's going on. Like, he doesn't understand anything. But then he sees a reflection of something. Like a shadow. And it's holding a card deck as well. And it's holding it in front of the mirror. And a belt appears. It inserts it into the belt. And it suddenly, what looks like armor appears. And then it walks in. Midoriya doesn't really know what's going on, but he tries to mimic this, and he ends up succeeding, becoming Kamen Rider Ryuki. And he's stunned by this new coat of armor, and instinctively he tries to walk in the mirror through the reflections, which succeeds. And now he's on a motorbike. I don't really know how to explain that part. Suddenly he's in what appears to be a reflection of his world. And then he sees the creature again. And this creature looks like... Hold on, let me come up with a good one. I'm not going to be using all the ones from the show. I'm just going to come up with a few. It looks like some skinny turtle-like creature. And it sees him, and it just takes one of the shells off its arm and just throws it like a frisbee. And he's caught off guard. It just hits him square in the face, causing him to knock down. And this turtle monster tries to attack him. And Midoriya just is freaking out, like he doesn't understand what's going on. And it also doesn't help that he has some weird thing attached to his left arm. Like, what's he supposed to do? And And the turtle monster's just throwing throws another shell, causing him to stagger. It is instinctively, he tries to pull, he thinks maybe this cards have something to do with this. He ends up pulling a sword event though, and then notices that he can slot it in with the dragon thing. So he just puts it in and closes it. And then the dragon arm thing says,
Sword event.
and the sword just starts falling down, and instinctively, Ryuki catches it. Alright, yeah, I should probably have remembered I referred to the right whenever they're wearing their armor as their Kamen Rider name. Now, Ryuki does try to fight back, but he has zero experience with a sword, so he doesn't really do very well. And the turtle has some pretty tough armor, let me tell you. And while he's struggling with it a lot, a giant bat comes along and just strikes it on its neck, because that's an exposed part of it. Ryuki looks up to think, another one? But then he sees it fly next to another person. Kamen Rider Knight. Now, Knight is observing the situation, and now he intervenes. He first uses Darkwing to distract it while he goes to attack it. He starts by attacking the exposed parts of the turtle monster. And he's doing pretty well. Like, the turtle monster isn't really doing much, and Ryuki's like, there's another person? Wait, he has a card deck as well. Wait, I wonder if I have something. Then Midoriya quickly just pulls out a card and gets a vinyl and puts it in. And it says,
Final Bento.
and Knight, seeing this, just moves out of the way as Ryuki uses his attack to jump up high and perform a rider kick, destroying the turtle monster instantly, and causing some light sphere thing to pop out of it, and for Dragazor to eat it. You should have been dead. Ryuki turns to look at Knight. Wait, what does he mean by being... Wait, was he responsible? Wait, was Akito involved in all of this? And via instinct, Midori just charges at him. But then all of a sudden, then Knight just retreats. I don't know if you're that same guy or not. There are 2 words of advice. 1. If you don't feed your contract monster, it will eat you. And 2. You have a limited amount of time you can stay in here. You have to enter back where you came from. Goodbye. And before Midori can answer, he just disappears like Batman. Also, little side note, apparently Knight's mask has eyes, it's just really hard to see. Eyes like Ryuki. Quickly, Midoriya leaves, and he's just, after all that, he's like, what the hell? And then he remembers, oh shoot, I have to get back. And when he gets back home, his mother is less than pleased that he got expelled. She understands why, but it's still a big problem. Midoriya's like, I can finish the rest via online. I've saw a good program for it. And Inko she isn't having that at the moment. She just tells him to go to his room and think of what he's done. But Midoriya's now thinking. He's just thinking more about that mirror world. Was that the reason Akito was getting headaches? Was he going off to fight those things? What was the purpose? And who was that guy? And why did he say he was supposed to be dead? What he does know is he can't exactly go back there again without being prepared. So this is where the 10-month time skip happens. Midoriya, instead of going to dig up a beach, actually no, he's still. Hold on, let's do a little bit before the time skip. Right, so let's say a few weeks after the whole incident. Midoriya is going on a morning jog, and he passes by Dagobah Beach, and he thinks, oh yeah, me and Akito were gonna train here. Well, I guess we better do. I mean, me. So he decides to come there the next day to start cleaning it up, while also learning how to use a sword, because that's one of the only things one of the few weapons he found that he can use. And on his jog, while he's running, a certain blonde man appears, going, I am here! All Might? That's right, kid. You know, I've been looking for you for a month at least. I gotta say, what you did back there was nothing short of heroic. You understood that you couldn't do much, but helped either way. I should have told you this sooner, but you have a heart of a hero, and you can be one as well. Well, thanks, All Might, but that doesn't matter anymore. I've given up. What? I thought I couldn't be one. I thought I could. I had someone who believed in me die, and I wasn't able to help them. Well, kid, I have something to say. Would you like to be my successor? What? You see, the media often avoids asking about my. Whenever the media asks about my quirk, I always avoid it. But my quirk is one that can be given to others. And after seeing what you can do, I think I've deemed you worthy of inheriting it. So so instead of saying that I can become a hero without a quirk, you're just doubling down on it by giving me one? That wasn't my intention. It did seem like that. But nothing you can do can convince me, All Might. Find someone who needs it. I don't. Darn. I just feel terrible. Wait. On that day, there was also. Oh my god. Oh, this whole mirror incident's getting worse and worse. Oh, and for context, whenever a mirror effect does happen, Midoriya does go to it to make sure he can still feed it. That's how he gets his fight experience. Now we cut to the day of the entrance exam, and you might be wondering, why are we going that far? Well, simple, really. Stuff's gonna happen, and Midoriya ain't going in. Now he's just passing by it after cleaning up the beach, and he's been more focused on trying to find out more about this, but he hasn't ran into that night guy. And while he's passing by, Bakugo, being the bitch that he is, just goes, out of my way, you damn extras! And he doesn't recognize Midoriya instantly, but Midoriya's like, well, hope you die. Or something. He's just saddened by the fact that his friend is not here with him. Like, he wishes he can go to the entrance exam with Akito, but he's dead. I can't preference this enough. Akito is dead. Dead, dead, dead. And not Akito, the Kamen Rider. No, Akito, like with a K instead of a G. But then he hears the mirror world acting up again. And he sees a giant spider just taking some people unknowingly. Quickly, he goes to the nearest reflection source and enters hold on, this happens an hour or later after the written exam and when the practical's about to start. Just figured I might add that in. Now, Ryuki is now in the mirror world and he's quickly entered into the grounds of UA and he is quite lost. He does see the spider moving and he follows it the best that he can. Quickly, he ends up at the trial grounds and he sees what's going on the other side. He sees them firing robots. They're like, okay, that is dangerous. That is wow. But then he sees the spider again perched on top of a roof, and it shoots a web and grabs an examiner. Quickly, Akito. Oh, no, not Ryuki goes after it. He's learned a bit about his cards, but he hasn't tried them out yet. Mostly, he just uses the sword one and the guard vento. He hasn't got a chance to use the strike one. Quickly, he tries to get to the spider before it can eat the examinee, but it does right in front of him. And then it jumps down and heads to a nearby reflection source to grab another examinee. But Ryuki just intervenes by just slashing it. But that gets the spider's attention, and it's not happy that it's being interrupted. So it decides to pounce on him, not in that way, and starts trying to attack it with its legs, mandibles. And Ryuki's just struggling. He mostly fought against small, minor mirror creatures, like ones that wouldn't be that much of a problem. But this one is dangerous. He's swinging it left and he's swinging his sword wildly. And he tries to get another card, but the spider just webs his free arm to the ground. So he's still trying to keep it at bay, but it ends up jabbing his soldiers and throwing them into a building, which heavily injures him. And then all of a sudden, Darkwing appears, and so does Night. Ryuki is stunned to see him here, because what are the chances? However, Night quickly places a card into his sword, card reader thing, and it says,
ソードベント
and it summons the Wing Lance, and he uses it to attack the spider, due to, well, a lance being more of a trusting weapon. And due to its length, he's able to keep it at bay and do massive damage. Ryuki, not wanting to be left out, quickly joins in the fray and attacks one of its mandibles to try and cut it off. The spider creature tries to shoot its string again at him, but he is able to avoid it. And just while it tries to attack again, it gets a lance thrust from Night, which grazed one of its eyes. Getting mad, the spider creature goes to attack Ryuki, but he quickly inserts a card into the reader, and it says,
ガードベント
and it summons a shield on his arms or two. I can't remember. And he's able to block the incoming attack. And Night This decides to use a
ファイナルベント
to attack the spider creature. He first starts running up, and then Darkwing attaches and becomes a cape. He then jumps and starts spinning with the cape twirling and lands a rider kick on the spider. Of course, it does fling back Ryuki a bit, but he was able to get away just in time, so it wasn't that severe. And after the smoke clears, Knight is standing there. But all of a sudden, Knight just starts attacking Ryuki. Hey, what's the idea? But Knight isn't bothered. However, thankfully, Ryuki had the guard event the shields on, so he was able to block his first attack. And he's still very angry and confused about why he's attacking him. Like, he helped him the first time, but now is attacking him the second time? Like, what's going on with him? And he tries to attack him, but Knight just dodges and just lands a jab on his shoulders, injuring him. And Ryuki just, why? Why you attack? You helped me before. There can only be one winner of this Rider Wars. What? And I guarantee you that I will be the winner. Quickly, Knight pulls out another advent card and inserts it. And the card reader says, and 4 copies of Knight appear. And they begin attacking Ryuki, just jabbing him left and right. And he gets overwhelmed pretty hard. And he is not in good shape, let me tell you. He tries to fight back and lands a punch on one, but the others counterattack. So he ends up getting overwhelmed, and Knight is coming closer with his weapon, ready to end Ryuki. I'm sorry, Akito. I couldn't. I guess I'll see you soon. But that stops Knight. And Ryuki's confused until Knight just grabs him and goes, how do you know that name? Why should I? You're not in a good position to negotiate right now. He was my best friend. He died 10 months ago. I found this card deck at his house. He told me about it. So. Ow! Knight quickly pushes him down, and then just scribbles something down on the piece of paper. Meet me here, and use this phrase to find me. We'll talk more later. Wait, what do you know about him? Like I said, we'll talk later. But right now I need to go. And quickly Knight leaves. And Ryuki ends up doing as well. And Izuku is still quite injured after leaving the mirror world. And he just starts walking away. He does stop by the convenience store to get himself a drink and an onigiri to eat. And he makes his way back home. And he notices his mother's working late. And he told his mom that he wasn't planning on going to high school because he doesn't. He's thinking of working right away to help support the family. His mother is not really thrilled about this, but he's able to convince her. But so far, he hasn't been having much luck finding a job. The jobs he applies to just reject him for being quirkless right off the bat. So he makes a mental notes of those types of jobs so that he can get them exposed later. Anyways, it's now a week. It's now a week after that whole incident, and Ryuki and Izuku is standing in front of the location Knight told him to meet at. So and it's also the day before the UA opens. UA's first day starts. So he enters the cafe and notices it's quite empty. And then he says the phrase, reflections are often misleading. And then out of the back door of the kitchen, someone comes out. and he's holding the the card deck that Knight uses. So you're Knight. What's your you should say your name first. Oh, Izuku Midoriya. And you? And that's where we're leaving it off. I know, cliffhanger. But this is where you guys come in. Hold on, first, water. Sorry about that. One thing I want to do with this What If series is have you guys decide which My Hero Academia characters should be which of the Kamen Rider Ryuki Kamen Riders. That was a mouthful. The only exceptions to these rules will be Ryuki and Odin, who I will decide myself, or unless you guys can come up with a better argument for Odin than me. And you can pick any character to be any Kamen Rider, but it has to make sense in a way. And if you're thinking, oh, we'll have to wait till he declares that a certain rider can be picked, nah, you can pick whoever you want. But for this episode, I want you to prioritize potential candidates to be Kamen Rider Knight. That's what I want to ask you guys to do. And maybe in a week or two, the next video will drop. And by that, either next week it will be the Kuga video, or the week after it will be the Ryuki one. And just a heads up, I finished episode 14. That was an emotional roller coaster, let me tell you. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I know I did. I managed to finish all this recording in it only took me 2 days to do this recording. And when I mean 2 days, it just means I spent an hour or so. Unlike with the Kuga videos where I struggle a lot, this felt more natural, like I had a fun time making this. Now I'm not saying that I didn't have fun with the Kuga one, it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just more keen to make My Hero Academia what ifs with Kamen Rider. Maybe that's just something I do. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.
アドベント、アドベント、アドベント。